Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabila Shazana binti Jamil. Good morning everyone. Today I would like to introduce our topic, which is pedophilia. Pedophilia is defined as a psychiatric disorder when an adult or an older adolescent experience sexual attraction to prepubescent children, typically under the age of 13. It is important to note that not all individuals with pedophilic tendencies commit offences. However, when these urges are acted upon, it becomes a crime and also immoral behavior. According to the DSM-5, pedophilia is categorized as pedophilic disorder only if it causes distress, impairment, or leads to harmful action. Why does this matter? The main goal is child protection. Sexual abuse can have several consequences. It often leads to trauma, anxiety, depression, and relationship difficulties later in life. Research on pedophilia also plays an important role in prevention, victim support, shaping legal policies, and raising public awareness. Therefore, in this report, we aim to examine pedophilia from multiple perspectives, such as mental health, law, ethics, and child safety. Our objective is not just to condemn, but also to understand, to protect, and to support effective treatment pathways so the children can grow up in a safer environment. Next slides. Objective of the report. Firstly, bringing in a real comprehension of pedophilia. Secondly, unveiling the social and legal consequences of pedophilic offences. And the last one, prevention and support value. That's it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Zulaika and I'll be talking about what is pedophilia. So pedophilia is a chronic sexual attraction to children under the age of 13, and the DSM-5 classifies it as a paraphilic disorder. Having this attraction does not automatically mean abuse will occur, since not all pedophiles are offenders and not all offenders are pedophiles. Pedophilic disorder, however, is diagnosed when the attraction causes distress to the individual or leads to actual child abuse. Here it's important to distinguish between pedophilia and child sexual abuse. So pedophilia is an inward attraction, while child sexual abuse refers to any sexual contact or exploitation of a child, such as touching, penetration, pornography, or even sexual talk. Child sexual abuse is always considered criminal and abusive regardless of the intent. The terms also need to be separated. A pedophile has the attraction while a predator actively exploits children, and some offenders may act from power or circumstance rather than pedophilic desire. In Malaysia, the Penal Code and the Sexual Offence Against Children Act 2017 criminalize grooming, child pornography, and both offline and online abuse. Penalties include whipping and imprisonment, and the law prohibits all sexual contact with children, whether or not a psychiatric disorder is involved. In conclusion, pedophilia is the psychiatric attraction. Pedophilic disorder combines attraction with harmful outcomes, and child sexual abuse is always a crime. So now let's move on to the causes. Pedophilia has multifactorial causes involving biological, psychological, social, and cultural factors. Biologically, research shows neurodevelopmental variations such as differences in the frontal and temporal lobes that affect impulse control, empathy, and arousal. It may also be linked to unusual brain connectivity, head injuries, or childhood trauma. These factors highlight pedophilia as a psychiatric illness rather than a moral failing. Psychologically, offenders often struggle with impulse control, social isolation, depression, drug use, or personality disorders. The abuse cycle is another factor where victims of childhood sexual abuse may later develop deviant sexual interests, though not all victims become offenders. Social and environmental factors are also important. In Malaysia, the wide availability of the internet, poor parental control, and online grooming have been identified by police and the Communication Commission as rising threats. Exposure to child sexual abuse material or CSAM is another cause where desensitization from pornography can lead to illegal interest. Culturally, stigma, family shame, and lack of trust in authorities prevent reporting. Rural poverty, lack of recreation, and poor sex education, which often focused only on abstinence, hence leaving children vulnerable to manipulation. In conclusion, the causes are multifaceted, combining biology, psychology, social environments, and cultural weaknesses. Prevention requires stronger internet safety, better sex education, and reducing stigma around reporting abuse. Thank you.
So, for the next part, impact on victims and families. Pedophilia leaves victims with lifelong trauma such as depression, PTSD, and trust issues. Many struggles in relationship and education, with counseling needed for years. Families also suffer. Parents feel guilt, stress, leads to conflict or divorce, and financial burdens from treatment and legal costs add to the pain. And also for society and nation, on a societal level, it erodes trust in schools and religious institutions, creating fears that limits children's freedom. The justice system is also burdened with sensitive, lengthy trials and high costs. Over time, this weakens moral values and causes intergenerational trauma affecting future families and society. Thank you.
Pedophilia cases in Malaysia have been rising for over 3 decades. It is defined as sexual abuse of children aged 2 to 13 years old. This includes physical and cyber abuse. Despite the Enforcement of Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017 called SOCA, the cases continue to rise. In 2019, 38% increase in cases happened compared to 2018. And according to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, a rise of 26.5% in sexual offences and a rise of 16.2% in sexual crimes happened from 2022 until 2023. And it was reported that 6,709 child abuse cases happened in 2023 until 2024 by the Ministry of Women, Family and Community Department. And post-COVID, cyber pedophilia started surging and the cases increased from 1,239 in 2022 to 1,567 in 2023. And the most famous case that happened in Malaysia was the GISB scandal. There was a count of 402 children abused under the institutional care, shocking the whole nation. We have read from 3 sources about the case of pedophilia. First is a journal by Noor Iziani and Salina Nen. They have mentioned that parents see pedophilia as a serious crime, but still some lack knowledge. The risk of pedophilia includes poor supervision, gadget overuse, and overuse of social media. And they have responded to combat the pedophilia cases by monitoring giving sex education, and limiting the exposure of social media. The next one is a blog by a website called Hello Doctor. Pedophilia is linked to trauma or fantasy, and the warning signs of a pedophilic behavior is grooming, gifts, outings, and online chats. The suggested treatments for the offenders are medication, family monitoring, and aversive conditioning. Finally, we have a news by Astro Awani. They have mentioned that cyber pedophilia has been rising fast and the IP addresses linked to pedophile cases jumped from 46 to 48,000 from 2017 to 2021. Despite the SOCA 2017 Act, weak ISP laws and limited cyber police force still hinders the enforcement.
So next, the philosophical analysis. there are two philosophical that involve, which is in Islam and Buddhism. Islam, it goes against the maqasid al-sharia, the preservation of life, intellect and lineage. First, it puts children's security and well-being at risk, damages their intellectual and philosophical development, and lowers family lineage values. And it also exists premise that children are an amanah of God. Second, the Buddhist, immoral action brought about by adverse mental factors such as desire, greed, lobha, and ignorance. It causes harm to innocent. In Rukun Negara analysis, there are two Rukun Negara that involve in this topic, which is belief in God principle and the supremacy of the constitution. First, belief in God principle. It constitutes a breach of religious laws and good morals of any Malaysian religion. Second, the principle adheres to the belief that the life of man should be governed by good morals under the guidance of God. Third, child exploitation is a serious offense, will be punished in this world and the hereafter. How about the supremacy of the constitution? Its offenses are contrary to Malaysian legislations, ensuring only the fundamental rights of children. Second, all human beings protected by the federal constitution and ancillary legislation such as penal code. Third, it inflicting punishment on culprits and endorsement of legal amendment further to improve prevention and rehabilitation is upholding the principle.
Hi, my name is Rodi. This is our group reflection on pedophilia. To jump on this assignment, our group should understand this issue. Pedophilia is a global issue, not limited to Malaysia. Second is, what is contributing factor to causes occurs? A series of them impact on victim by the perpetrators. Cyber pedophilia is like mushroom growing after the rain. What is point of view on philosophical and moral dimension has? As a parents on children or educators on the future, we have role and responsibilities. The next is our group reflection on assignment. To do this assignment, we cross between challenges and responsibility because this sensitive and difficult topic to build awareness of causes and consequences. To complete this task, team collaboration is most important. While completing this assignment, this really pushes us towards skill development analysis. After this research, we finally found out about key findings on pedophilia. Our emotion that raised when studying case, at the same time fostered empathy and awareness. Thank you.
Fight against pedophilia, we need stronger action in many areas. Legally harsher punishments, faster trials and a sex offender register can stop offenders. For awareness, children should get body safety training and campaigns should reach both rural areas and online spaces, while parents and teachers train to protect kids. Victims need education support, safe houses and counseling so they can recover. Technology can help too. AI patrols, police monitoring the internet and system for anonymous reporting. Offenders should face treatment, close surveillance and limits on their jobs. Finally, we need to build a culture where education is valued and the governments, NGOs, media, schools and families work together. Only with these combined efforts can they keep children safe. Conclusion, pedophilia is not only psychiatric problem but also a criminal and social issues. With online cases rising, we must act quickly. This means having strong laws, good education, modern technology to monitor, proper care for victims and treatments for offenders. It cannot be solved one group alone. Government, NGOs, schools and families all need to work together. Our main goal is clear: to build a safe and protect future for every child. Thank you.